Hey, this is John with Two Moose Home Inspections. We're at the last part of this video series about fire, and we're learning about smoke detectors and why the smoke detectors that you have are probably putting your family at risk. Welcome to Inspector Insights. This right here is a smoke detector, but not all smoke detectors are created equal. You have ionization smoke detection and you have photoelectric smoke detection. Now, an ionization smoke detector is the one that is always going off for no reason whenever you burn the toast or whenever a hamburger is being cooked, but they never go off whenever the house is actually on fire and they've killed many, many people. So ionization smoke detectors are not what you want. You definitely want a photoelectric smoke detector. So let's figure out how they work, look at a little bit of data, and then that will definitely help us decide what type of smoke detector we want to keep our families safe. If we take a look right here, what we have is that we have ourselves a battery, we have ourselves a voltmeter, and then we have some ionized air. And so air doesn't want to be ionized. Energy needs to be put into that system to ionize the air, to basically line up the air molecules. And so how is it that we ionize the air off of a little battery? Well, the way we do that is with radioactive material. So yeah, there's radioactive material inside of your ionization smoke detector. That's neat. I love radioactive material. It's the best. So we have radioactive material inside of our smoke detector. And the way that it works is that whenever we have our smoke come in, it disturbs all of these ionized particles. And what that does is that instead of having electricity flow through very easily, electricity is now taking a very long path to get through. And you can see that we have a reduced voltage. So if the voltage meter says that we're here, then great, there's no fire. If the voltage meter says that we're here, okay, great, then there is a fire. Except that the way that this is calibrated, the way that it works, it really doesn't work out the way that one would intend, and definitely not for the types of fires that we have in our houses. So what's the other option? Well, the other option, I think you guys might know what an LED is. I think everybody knows what a light emitting diode is. It's pretty much just the way that we have our lights on our flashlights, the way we have our lights, the lights on our cell phones, the way we have lights on pretty much everything, our Christmas trees even. So an LED, this light source, is now taking light and it's just sending it over here. Fantastic. Now, whenever we have smoke come in, smoke comes in and then the light bounces off of those smoke particles and the light sensor is now detecting that light and is able to tell the size of the particles and a whole bunch of other information to be able to accurately say, hey, we have a fire. There's something we need to do about it. Not only do these types of smoke detectors detect fire much faster, but also they detect it much more accurately. There's very few false positives and they actually work. So that's very, very important that they actually work. So whenever we talk about our ionization smoke detector, not only does it have radioactive material in it, but it rarely ever works. It's always telling you your toast is burned. So there's a really, really good podcast. I highly recommend that you guys check it out. And basically they talked a whole bunch and they talked with this guy right here, Skip Walker. This guy knows his stuff. Very impressive. He talked about this document. Now this document here, this isn't all the pages. There's like 170 pages. But what they specifically talked about was this one table right here. Now, the reason this table is so interesting is because there is a thing that is referred to as a did not trigger, DNT, right down here. I just highlighted it. So this DNT at the very bottom of this page, basically what this means, DNT did not trigger. So if you take a look, ponderosa pine did not trigger. Fantastic. Okay. Then we move our way down. Did not trigger, 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 did not trigger. Okay, let's come over here. Let's take a look at our photoelectric. And so we have triggered, 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 and triggered. So what you're telling me is that an ionization smoke detector isn't even going to trigger, isn't even going to come on whenever there are all of these fire situations. It's not going to do anything, but yet this will. And right over here, this ponderosa pine, you're telling me that you can burn a ponderosa pine, which is the majority of a lot of these studs that are found inside of homes. That's what those studs are made out of. You can burn one of those and your ionization is not going to trigger. That's a little silly. That's actually really silly. And in fact, it's not even silly. It's just dangerous. Now, the thing about it is that we want to make sure, and as home inspectors, we want to make sure there are smoke detectors. However, we don't test every smoke detector to make sure that it works because the standards in which they use to make a document such as this, to make a document like this, the standards that they use for testing is not something we can do in the home. The best you can do is press the button. And whenever you press the button, it goes beep. All right, now what that's told me is that the button works and the audible alarm works. It tells me nothing about the sensor, nothing about the light on the inside, nothing about the ionization of air. It tells me nothing about the voltmeter. It tells me nothing about any of the internal components. And at best, by pressing that button and having it indicate that, it just tells me that there is battery, and that is a 50% chance that it works. So again, when we say every 10 years, make sure that you are replacing your smoke detector. Make sure you have a smoke detector in every one of these rooms and in these locations. The reason that is because if one were to fail, we need to have another one close enough to keep you and your family safe. If one didn't read the fire quickly enough, we need to have a second. If you didn't replace the battery in one, but there is in the second, it's always good to have redundancy in any system that has to deal with your safety. So every year, replace the batteries and make sure that you are replacing them every 10 years. Now, if you don't know how old it is, and if it doesn't have a date on it, it's older than 10 years. If it's yellow, it's older than 10 years. So it's very important that you just replace these smoke detectors. And again, that test button, as nice as it is to press the test button, it is you who is responsible for replacing batteries and making sure they work. So as a home inspector, I'm not going to press the test button every time because all it's going to tell me is that there's a 50-50 chance that your smoke detector actually works. I would rather leave that to you in your negotiations to say, we want all new smoke detectors and we want photoelectric smoke detectors. And why do we want photoelectric smoke detectors? We want photoelectric smoke detectors because we don't want our families to die. Because if we use ionization smoke detectors, our families are at a very high risk of that occurring. So let's talk about smoke detector pricing. All right, here we go. Photoelectric smoke detector. Oh, $20? That's awesome. That's really good. Okay, here we go. Dual sensor smoke and fire detector, $45. Sweet. All right, so I'm gonna buy that No, do not buy the $45 one. So the example they use is they said, if you have a gallon of clean water and you want more water, and you have another gallon of water, but it's dirty water, why would you ever pour your dirty water into your clean water? Why would you ever do that? There's no reason, because there's some coding on the inside of this, and by coding I mean computer coding, that says that both types of sensors need to trip in order for it to turn on. So basically what you've done is you've taken a perfectly good working photoelectric, and then you've added on a terrible ionization, and you said the photoelectric is saying, guys, there's a fire, everybody get out, there's a fire. The ionization saying, I don't see a fire. I've never seen a fire. There's no such thing. It's ghosts or bread. So what happens is that now this part is saying, we have a fire, we need to get out of here. This one right here is saying, nah, no problem. So what happens? The alarm doesn't go off. What? Are you crazy? Do you use 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner? You shouldn't. And here's the reason you shouldn't. Because shampoo is designed to get rid of oils. Conditioner is designed to keep oils in. You use a shampoo, you use a conditioner. All right, same kind of thing. Do not put both of these products in together as one. Save yourself the money. Get yourself photoelectric as best as you can and just be good to go. So as soon as you can, photoelectric, that's what you need. Do not use ionization. Pretty please, do not. And do not do dual sensor. There is no reason to do dual sensor. All right, that's my soapbox, and now you know. So make sure that you are getting yourself and your family photoelectric smoke detectors. Make sure that if you have ionization smoke detectors, that you get rid of them, and you get rid of them safely, because they do have radioactive material inside of them. Make sure that you are testing your smoke detectors, and that'll give you an idea that 50-50 chance it might work. So make sure you're replacing your batteries, and make sure that you are replacing those smoke detectors every 10 years. That's a must. So as a home inspector, we do our best to make sure that you have smoke detectors, but you want to make sure that in your property that you are getting new smoke detectors installed whenever you take ownership of that house. That's the best thing you can do, and make sure they're in all the right locations. And you will find that in the description, we have a lot of information about where you can get a lot of this fire safety information about where to place smoke detectors, what types of smoke detectors, so on and so forth. So that is the end of this particular series on fires, wildfires that is, and smoke detectors. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to schedule a home inspection, please visit 2moosehomeinspections.com. Have a wonderful day.